be honest, I feel like a fool for turning down your generous offer now, especially in light of the fact that the man I was trying to protect doesn't even exist. Her hand clenched into fists. It was very wrong of them to take advantage of you like that, dear, Dominic said, nodding his head sympathetically. But are you sure that the headlines are true? There's so much fake news going around these days. I'm 100% sure, Rachel replied before Dominic could finish his thought. Aaron arched an eyebrow. How can you be so positive? Didn't you work for the Tiger for almost a decade? Why didn't you suspect anything until now? Slow down, Aaron, Dominic scolded. Give the poor woman a chance to answer. Rachel gave Dominic a grateful smile. Yes, it's true that I worked for the Tiger for over 10 years, but I never met him in person. Not even once? Aaron asked. Rachel shook her head. Dominic arched his brows. I see. Then how did you communicate with him? By phone, mostly, Rachel explained. And he used a voice modulator of some kind, so I don't even know who I was really talking to. If you had to guess, who do you think it was? Dominic pressed. Rachel shrugged. It was probably Maximilian Castor. Or that sneaky bastard Aiden Callahan. She hissed through clenched teeth. At the mention of Aiden's name, Dominic and Aaron exchanged a shocked look. What is it? What did I say? Asked Rachel. Are you talking about the same Aiden Callahan who owns Viola Technologies? Replied Dominic. A puzzled expression fell across Rachel's face. Yes. Why? For a while, I thought that Aiden was the Tiger, Aaron explained. So I ran a DNA test on him and compared his DNA with Samuel Gibson's. The two samples didn't match, but if Aiden was pretending to be the Tiger, then talking to him could still prove very useful, Dominic said, completing Aaron's sentence. Exactly, Aaron smirked. But we have to be careful. Even if Aiden isn't really the Tiger, he might as well be. He's highly intelligent, and his fighting skills are impressive. Capturing him won't be easy. Interesting. Dominic lit a cigar and puffed it thoughtfully for a moment. Suddenly, his eyes lit up, the corners of his mouth curling into a mischievous smile. Don't worry about Aiden. I just thought of the perfect plan to catch him. Dominic chuckled, gesturing toward Rachel. And our beautiful new partner here is going to help us. The next morning, as soon as Aiden arrived at his office, Tina knocked on his door. Come in, Tina.
Good morning, sir. I just got a call from Rachel over at SafeTech.
Aiden groaned. Great. What does she want now?
Actually, sir, she said she wants to apologize for her behavior yesterday. She said, and I quote, "Finding out the news about the Tiger was a big shock for me, but there was no excuse for the way I acted. I'd like to apologize to Mr. Callahan in person."
Tina handed Aiden a printed-out transcription of the call. Aiden furrowed his brows as he scanned through the transcription. It also says here that SafeTech is launching a new product line, and they want Powerhouse to help with their marketing. Tina nodded.
Yes, sir. She mentioned that too. She's inviting us to SafeTech this morning to apologize and talk over the specifics.
We could use some new contracts to make up for the business we just lost, Aiden thought. And I do feel a little guilty for being so hard on Rachel in the past, when I suspected her of spying for Dominic. Okay, tell them we're coming, Aiden said decisively.
Yes, sir. I'll let them know.
Tina turned to leave. Oh, and Tina? Aiden called out. She popped her head back into the doorway.
Yes, sir?
I want you to come with me. This could be a good learning opportunity for you. Tina's eyes lit up.
Thank you, sir. I'd love to tag along.
A few minutes later, Aiden and Tina took the elevator down to the first floor and made their way toward the parking lot. As they crossed the lobby, Aiden heard the sound of women snickering behind him. Watch out, here comes Aiden.
Shh, don't let him hear you. He might sick the tiger on you.
Aiden glanced over his shoulder and saw the 3 women who had been snarking at him the previous morning, staring at him and giggling. Tina scowled.
You're not going to let them talk to you like that and get away with it, are you, sir?
Aiden smirked. What do you say, Tina? Should we teach them a lesson?
Ready whenever you are, sir.
Tina chuckled. Aiden whirled around to face the 3 women, startling them. We're not paying you to stand around gossiping. Don't you 3 have anything better to do? After a moment of awkward silence, one of the women muttered under her breath. At least the people we work for aren't imaginary. Her snide remark caused another outburst of cruel laughter. What was that? Aiden asked. Speak up. I can't hear you. The woman's face reddened slightly, but she said nothing. Aiden turned to Tina. Find out who these women are and fire them immediately. Tina grinned.
With pleasure, sir. Okay, ladies, hand over your IDs.
She barked, stretching out her hand. As Tina took a step toward the 3 women, their faces turned pale and they huddled closer together, trembling.
Please, Mr. Callahan, don't fire us.
We were only joking around. We'll be more respectful in the future, I promise. They whimpered. Aiden had to fight hard to keep a straight face. What do you think, Tina? Should we give them another chance? Tina shook her head.
I wouldn't, sir. If you ask me, their behavior was highly unprofessional.
The women dropped to their knees, clasping their hands together and begging. Please, sir, I'm a single mom. If I lose this job, I won't be able to support my family.
And I won't be able to pay back my credit cards. I'll be ruined.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you off with a warning this time, Aiden said sternly. But from now on, no more gossip. Do you understand? The women nodded eagerly, breathing a sigh of relief. I think they learned their lesson, Tina. Come on, let's go. As Aiden and Tina turned around, they could barely keep from cracking up. The 3 women remained on their knees, with their heads bowed in shame, until Aiden and Tina had walked out of the building. When Aiden and Tina arrived at SafeTech, Rachel was waiting for them in the lobby. Welcome, Aiden, Rachel said warmly. Her smile suddenly turned into a frown when she saw Tina walk in behind him. I didn't realize you were bringing anyone. Aiden arched an eyebrow. You remember Tina, don't you? Yes, of course, Rachel stammered, plastering her fake smile back on. Good to see you again, Tina. You know what they say, the more the merrier. Follow me, please. Aiden and Tina followed Rachel to a conference room on the 2nd floor. The table was covered with a lavish breakfast spread, fresh juice, pastries, cereal, yogurt, fresh fruit, and more. Thank you again for coming over here so early in the morning. I took the liberty of preparing some snacks for you, in case you haven't had a chance to eat breakfast yet. Rachel made a sweeping gesture toward the table. That's very thoughtful of you, Rachel, but I'm not hungry, Aiden replied. Sadly, I don't have much time this morning. Wasn't there some business you wanted to discuss? Rachel's face fell. I really can't get you anything? Not even a cup of coffee? Sure, Aiden said impatiently. Some coffee would be great, thank you. Coming right up. Rachel hurried over to the hot beverage station and returned a moment later, handing Aiden a piping hot cup of black coffee. Would you mind if I speak to you alone for a minute? She asked Aiden, her cheeks reddening slightly from embarrassment. I would love to apologize to you in person, but I'd prefer to do it without an audience. She nodded discreetly at Tina. Aiden sighed. Sure, Rachel. But let's just keep it brief, shall we? Tina, please help yourself to some food. We'll be right back. Aiden set down his briefcase and followed Rachel down the hall to her office. So, does it feel strange to be back here? Rachel asked, as Aiden sat down in one of the chairs opposite his old desk. He looked around and nodded. This place brings back a lot of memories. Safe Tech is where I got my start. He took a sip of his coffee. All right, Rachel, the clock is ticking. I hope you didn't drag me all the way down here for a trip down memory lane. Rachel smiled wickedly. No, definitely not. How's the coffee, by the way? The coffee's fine, Aiden huffed. Now can we please talk about... Suddenly, Aiden felt his head spinning. The coffee cup slipped from his hand, falling to the floor with a splash. A moment later, he tipped out of his chair, the entire room tilting on its axis. He looked up at Rachel, who was staring down at him, laughing. What have you given me? You evil witch! Aiden managed to sputter, but before Rachel could reply, everything went black. What will happen to Aiden now that Rachel has drugged him? Will she hand him over to Dominic and Aaron? So, Tina, did you enjoy your breakfast? Rachel asked as she walked back into the conference room. Can I pack something for you to go? She began ushering Tina toward the door. Tina quickly chewed the grape she had just popped into her mouth, covering her mouth with her hand.
To go? We haven't even started the meeting yet. Where's Mr. Callahan? She asked, looking around.
Mr. Callahan asked me to inform you that there's been a change of plans, Rachel said nonchalantly. He said he had some urgent business to attend to and rushed out in the middle of our meeting. Rather rude, if you ask me, she whispered, pretending to be annoyed. Tina arched her brows.
Did he say where he was going?
Rachel shook her head. No, not a word. Suddenly, they were interrupted by a muffled cell phone ringing somewhere in the room. Both Rachel and Tina looked around frantically to see where the noise was coming from. After a moment, Tina's eyes landed on Aiden's briefcase.
That's strange. Mr. Callahan left without his briefcase and his phone. That's so unlike him.
Rachel slapped her forehead. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot. Aiden told me to ask you to grab it for him.
He did?
Yes. And he said don't worry about leaving his car here. He arranged a ride from a car service for you, and he said he'll meet you back at Powerhouse later, Rachel added, shoving Aiden's briefcase into Tina's hands and guiding her toward the hallway.
Wait!
Tina shouted. Rachel froze in her tracks. What is it, Tina? Rachel asked innocently, as sweat began beading on her forehead.
I'll actually take a few of those chocolate croissants to go, if your offer still stands.
Tina giggled. Of course, dear. Rachel plucked a few choice croissants from the table and placed them carefully in a to-go box. She handed it to Tina with a fake smile, then grabbed her arm and dragged her out of the room. When Tina got back to Powerhouse, she was alarmed to see a woman she didn't recognize sitting in her office.
May I help you?
She asked, furrowing her brows, as she walked in and set Aiden's briefcase and the box of croissants down at her desk. I hope so, the woman replied, shifting nervously in her chair. I'm here to see the tiger, she said, lowering her voice to a whisper. Tina's eyes widened in surprise, but she quickly recovered.
I'm sure you must have seen the news headlines by now, she scoffed. Everyone knows that the tiger doesn't exist. Would you care for a croissant?
She flipped open the to-go box Rachel had packed for her and offered one to her guest. The woman waved the box away and leaned in closer. You're Tina, right? The tiger told me about you," she said softly. "He said I should come to talk to you if I ever have trouble reaching him. That's why I'm here. I'm very worried about him." Tina narrowed her eyes. She quickly got up and closed the door.
"Who are you?"
she asked the woman as soon as she got back to her desk. "My name is Tara. I work for the tiger. I was supposed to meet him this morning, but he didn't show up. I've tried calling him multiple times, but he's not picking up. It's not like him to just disappear like that with no explanation." Tina waved her off.
"You're worrying unnecessarily. Some urgent business popped up that he had to attend to. As soon as he comes back, I'll tell him to get in touch with you."
Tara didn't flinch. "What kind of urgent business?" Tina sighed and folded her arms over her chest.
"That's really none of your business. Besides, I have no idea. We were at a meeting this morning and he rushed out so fast that he didn't even take his briefcase with him."
Tina's mouth suddenly fell open.
"Oh my God, Tara, I think you're right. I think Aiden might be in danger."
Tara nodded. "I have a really bad feeling about this." Tina pulled out her phone.
"Hold on. Before we start freaking out, let me call Maximilian. Maybe he knows something about where Aiden ran off to."
"Hello, Tina. What's up?" Maximilian answered.
"Hello, Mr. Castor. I'm sitting here at Powerhouse with Tara. We're wondering, have you spoken to Aiden this morning by any chance?"
Tina asked hopefully. "No. In fact, I've been trying to reach him. I called him several times, but there's no answer." Maximilian's words were tinged with frustration. Tina swallowed nervously and pulled Aiden's phone out of his briefcase. She had switched the ringer off, but she could see several missed call notifications on the home screen.
"That's probably because his phone is here with me, sir."
"What? Why doesn't he have his phone with him?" Maximilian snapped.
"I don't know, sir. We were at a meeting with Rachel this morning and he disappeared suddenly without taking his things."
Tina explained.
"I thought it was a bit strange, too."
Maximilian's breath caught in his throat. "Are you talking about the same Rachel who used to work at Powerhouse?"
"Yes,"
Tina confirmed.
"Why? Do you think Aiden might be in danger?"
"I definitely think Aiden is in danger," Maximilian replied without hesitation. "We have reason to believe that Rachel could be one of Dominic's spies. Stay right there. I'm on my way."
"Yes, sir,"
Tina replied as Maximilian hung up. As Maximilian raced toward the Powerhouse building, he called Cyrus. "Hello, Maximilian. How are you?" Cyrus answered. "Not good," Maximilian replied. "I just got a call from Tina. She's with Tara over at Powerhouse PR. They think Aiden might have been kidnapped this morning." "Kidnapped?" Cyrus gasped. "By who?" "We think Rachel might have something to do with it. She's the last person that Aiden was seen with, and, as you know, we suspect that she might be working for Dominic." Cyrus was silent for a moment. "Do you really think Rachel is capable of kidnapping Aiden?" "Not if she was working alone," Max agreed. "But what if this whole thing was a setup? What if she lured him into a trap set by Dominic and his gang?" "If they caught the tiger by surprise, it's certainly possible," Cyrus said gravely. "Where are you now?" "I'm heading to Powerhouse to meet up with Tina and Tara. Tina has Aiden's phone. If I find out anything more, I'll let you know." "Thanks, Maximilian. I'll gather our men and stand by. Whenever it's time to make a move, we'll be ready." When Aiden came to, his hands and legs were tied. Everything was still pitch black, and he could barely move. But it didn't take him long to figure out where he was. He could hear the hum of a car engine and the crunch of gravel under the tires. "How the hell did I end up in the trunk of someone's car?" he wondered. Suddenly, it all came back to him. "Ugh! I can't believe that I was dumb enough to accept Rachel's invitation. I should have known that nasty woman would never apologize. I allowed my guilt to cloud my judgment. If I get out of this alive, I can't let that happen again.
Suddenly, the car lurched as it drove over a huge pothole, causing Aiden to bang his head.
Ah!
A wave of nausea washed over him.
Oh shit. I think I'm gonna throw up. What the hell did that crazy woman put in my coffee?
Just when Aiden felt like he was about to get sick, the car began to slow down. He let out a sigh of relief as it pulled to a stop. He could hear the car doors open and shut, and the muffled sound of men speaking in low voices. At first, he couldn't hear what they were saying, but as they moved closer, he started to make out a few words.
Did he have anything on him? A phone? Identification? No, boss. We searched him thoroughly. He wasn't carrying anything. What about the drugs? How long do they take to wear off? He should be waking up any minute now. Excellent.
As the trunk popped open, Aiden was momentarily blinded by the bright sunlight that poured in. He could see the silhouette of a man looking down at him, but it took his eyes a moment to adjust.
Oh, good. You're awake,
said a familiar voice that Aiden couldn't quite place. He blinked his eyes several times, and the man holding the trunk open slowly came into focus.
Oh shit, it's Dominic Grayson,
Aiden realized.
Hello, Aiden. We meet again,
Dominic said, his lips curling into a sadistic smile. What will Dominic do to Aiden now that he has him in his clutches? Will Max, Tina, and the rest of Aiden's allies find him before it's too late? Keep listening to find out more. The Godfather's Son.
You look surprised to see me,
Dominic chuckled. His eyes flickered with amusement as he looked down at Aiden, tied up in a fetal position in his trunk.
I knew we'd meet again someday, although I admit I had no idea it would be under such unusual circumstances. Why did you do this to me?
Aiden growled, pulling at his restraints.
Did Harper send you to keep me out of the Gladiator Tech Conference? Stay calm and play naive, he told himself. If they figure out that I'm the Tiger, I'm a dead man.
Dominic shook his head.
This has nothing to do with Harper. Her petty squabbles with you over technology awards are not my concern. I have my own reasons for bringing you here. So I was right,
Aiden said with a smirk.
Harper is up to something. I knew it.
Dominic scowled.
Enough! I'm asking the questions around here.
He snapped his fingers, and two henchmen appeared on either side of his shoulders.
Remove our guest here from the trunk, so we can talk more comfortably. Yes, boss,
one of the beefy men growled. They picked Aiden up out of the trunk and dropped him roughly onto the ground outside the car. Aiden spit out a mouthful of dust.
The combination of being drugged and all this jostling around is really doing a number on me. I can't remember the last time I felt this bad. If only my wrists weren't tied.
Dominic stepped closer to Aiden until his shoes were just inches away from his face. He grabbed Aiden by the hair and pulled his head back so he could stare him in the eyes.
Now, just answer the questions that I ask you. Otherwise, I will cut out your tongue and sew your lips together. Is that understood? I'm not going to tell you anything about the Tiger, so if you're going to kill me, why don't you just get it over with?
Aiden bluffed. Dominic threw his head back and laughed.
Brave words. Since you're not afraid of dying, I have a better idea. Why don't we bring all the people who are close to you here, and you can watch them die, one by one, right in front of your eyes. Let me know which option you prefer. Fine, I'll talk,
Aiden said reluctantly,
What do you want to know? You're smarter than you look, Dominic smirked. So, tell me, what do you think about the news that came out this week? Rachel tells us you were one of the people who had the most contact with the tiger. Is he real or not? Aiden scoffed. Is that why you brought me here? Rachel worked for the tiger for 10 years. She could answer this question way better than I could. Dominic nodded to his henchman, who gave Aiden a couple of sharp kicks in the ribs. Aiden groaned and rolled over onto his back. Dominic loomed over him, blocking out the sun. Just answer the question, he growled. I don't know, Aiden stammered. How could you not know? You were in contact with him, weren't you? Dominic snarled. Aiden hesitated for a moment as he calculated his next move. Look, to tell you the truth, I've never spoken to the tiger. I used to talk to Maximilian Castor about everything. Dominic arched his eyebrows. I see. But you still haven't answered my question. Do you think the tiger is alive or not? Aiden took a deep breath, then shook his head. No. As far as I know, the tiger died a long time ago. Dominic narrowed his eyes. I knew it. So who was the man masquerading as the tiger at the Barone Foundation event last week? That was me, Aiden admitted. The invitation to join the Barone Foundation was too tempting for the tiger group to pass up. So, they made me wear a mask and stand around pretending to be the tiger. But I wasn't the only one. There were several tigers there that night. Dominic stroked his chin. That's right, there were. They thought they made a fool of me. But it looks like they made fools of everyone in the Barone Foundation. When word of this gets out, the tiger group is going to have many new powerful enemies. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Aiden heard Rachel's voice. So, if you were pretending to be the tiger at the Barone Foundation party, were you also the one giving me orders? Rachel walked over and stood next to Dominic, leering down at Aiden, who was still flat on his back. Yeah, he admitted sheepishly, pretending to be embarrassed. Rachel's eyes went dark with rage. Now I know why I was demoted. You wanted my job, she hissed. Actually, you were demoted because we knew you were working for Dominic and the tiger at the same time, Aiden snapped back. Rachel was caught off guard for a moment. Actually, that's not true. I just started working for Dominic yesterday. But I've already realized how much better it is to work for him than the tiger group. I'm treated much better here. For a moment, Aiden stopped acting helpless and fixed Rachel in an icy stare. Enjoy it while it lasts, Rachel, because there will be consequences for your actions. And trust me, they won't be pretty. Ooh, I'm so scared, Rachel said sarcastically. Are you going to tell the tiger on me? Dominic's henchman snickered. Enough of this useless talk, Dominic interrupted. My precious time is being wasted. Aaron, Rachel, come with me. It's time to decide what to do with this imposter. What do you want to do with him now, Dad? Aaron asked Dominic as soon as the three of them stepped away to talk privately. Before Dominic could reply, Rachel interjected. We can't let him get away. If he tells the tiger group captains about me, I'm as good as dead. Dominic nodded. He's too smart, and he knows too much. There's only one thing to do with an opponent like that. He turned to Aaron. Kill him, but make it look like an accident. Aaron's eyebrows shot up in surprise. You want me to do it? If you want to sit in my chair someday and run our organization when I'm gone, you're going to need to know how to handle situations like this, Dominic said coldly. Aaron bowed his head slightly. Yes, Dad. While Dominic was busy deciding Aiden's fate, the tiger was laying on the ground, trying to wriggle free from his restraints. If I could just get my hands free, I could kill all of my worst enemies in one fell swoop. But if I don't, I'm a goner for sure. He heard footsteps approaching and let out a sigh. Looks like my time's up. But when Aiden saw who was standing over him, his eyes filled with hope. George, what are you doing here? Aiden said in a shocked whisper. Hey, boss. I've been working undercover in Dominic's gang since you sent me back to spread the rumors about Ferris. George explained in a low voice. I don't have much time, but I sent Maximilian your location. He should be here any minute. Aiden grinned. You're a genius, George. Thank you. George reached into his pocket and slipped Aiden a small pocket knife. I thought you might need this too, boss. I have to go now. Good luck. George scurried away, just as Aaron returned with his henchman in tow. Put him behind the wheel of the car, Aaron ordered. Then cut the brake lines and put it in neutral. We need to make it look like he lost control of the vehicle and went over the cliff. Yes, boss. We'll make it look like an accident, all right. Aiden squeezed the pocket knife tightly in the palm of his hands. As Aaron's henchman picked him up and placed him behind the wheel of the car he had arrived in, he heard the engine turn over. Then, he felt a lurch as the henchman pushed the car down a steep hill that led to a sheer drop-off. You're making a big mistake, Aaron, Aiden called out as the car began to roll away. Aaron threw his head back and laughed. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Charlotte when you're gone. Aiden clenched his teeth and began sawing away at his restraints. I can't let that bastard get anywhere near Charlotte. If I can just cut through these ropes, I still have a chance of making it out of this alive. As the car picked up speed, Aiden could see over the edge of the cliff. The sheer height of the drop-off was staggering. If I go over that, there's no way I'll survive. He sawed even more frantically at the rope. A few strands frayed, but the pocket knife was dull, and the rope was thick and sturdy. This can't end like this. There's too much left unfinished. What about Blair? Charlotte? The promises I made to my father. Aiden cut with all of his might, but it was too late. He felt a sickening drop as the front wheels went over the edge of the cliff. Oh shit, this is really happening, he realized. Here we go, he told himself, closing his eyes. Will Aiden survive his car going over a cliff? Will the Tiger Group fall apart now that everyone believes the tiger is dead? Oh shit, I'm going over. Alarm bells were going off in Aiden's head as the car lurched over the edge of a steep drop-off. The distance to the bottom of the cliff was dizzying. Aiden knew the chances of surviving a fall from that height were slim to none. As he braced himself for impact, he suddenly heard the ropes tied around his wrists snap as the dull pocket knife George had given him finally cut through. He looked down in shock as he stretched his hands out in front of him. Holy shit, it worked! He quickly cut his ankles free and grabbed for the door handle just as the back wheels cleared the cliff edge and the car began its free fall. He kicked open the door and jumped toward the cliff, grasping desperately for anything to hold on to that could stop him from plummeting to his death. He slid down about 20 feet before his fingers finally wrapped around a scraggly shrub growing out the side of a rock. It wasn't very sturdy, but it was enough to stop his descent. He heard the echoes of the car he had been in moments before as it crashed to the bottom of the canyon below. Finally, it came to a stop, then exploded, bursting into flames. Then, everything went quiet. The only sounds coming from the light breeze that blew across the cliff face and the groaning of the shrub that Aiden was holding onto as the roots struggled to support his weight. Aiden dropped a few inches as some of the roots came loose, causing him to lose his foothold. His feet dangled precariously in thin air. I can't hold on much longer, he thought, looking around for anything else he could use to climb to safety, but there was nothing but smooth stone in every direction. Suddenly, He heard the low hum of a car engine approaching. Oh, great. If Aaron and his men come back here, I'm a sitting duck out here. The car pulled to a stop, and Aiden heard footsteps approaching. A moment later, 3 worried faces popped up over the edge of the cliff.
Aiden?
Tina's eyes lit up when she saw him. She quickly pointed him out to Maximilian and Tara, who let out a sigh of relief. Are you okay, boss? Maximilian asked. Aiden shook his head. No, not really. This shrub is going to come uprooted any second now. Give me a hand, will you? Tina screamed as a few more roots pulled loose, causing Aiden to drop even further out of reach. Hold on, boss. I'll be right back, Maximilian shouted. A minute later, he returned with some heavy-duty jumper cables and threw one end to Aiden. Sorry, boss. This is all I had in the car. Aiden grabbed onto the cables, right as the shrub he was holding onto gave way. Not sure if these will hold my weight either, but let's give it a shot, Aiden replied, his eyes filled with determination. After a few hair-raising minutes, Aiden made it close enough to the top of the cliff for Maximilian to grab his hand and pull him to safety. That was a close one, Aiden muttered, dusting himself off and wiping the sweat from his brow.
Way too close, if you ask me,
Tina agreed nervously. Aiden looked around. Where are Aaron and his men? Did you run into them? Maximilian shook his head. They were gone already when we got here. I guess they figured there's no way anyone could survive that. He looked down at the burning wreckage of the car at the bottom of the cliff. No one could survive that, except for the tiger, Tara said, looking up at Aiden in admiration. Aiden chuckled as he stood next to Max and stared down at the wreckage. Well, the good news is, they definitely think the tiger is dead now. I told them that I was the one impersonating him at the Barone Foundation event. As far as Dominic is concerned, the real tiger doesn't exist, and the fake tiger is down there, burnt to a crisp. I admit things didn't exactly go as planned, but now we have them right where we want them. Maximilian nodded. So, what should we do now, boss? Aiden thought quietly for a moment. Let's gather the captains together. Before we make any big moves, I want to speak with them. Everyone is already waiting for you at Cyrus's place, Maximilian informed him. The Tiger Group has been on standby since you went missing. Aiden slapped Maximilian on the back. Excellent work, Max. Let's go. When they arrived outside of Cyrus's house, Tina handed Aiden his briefcase.
I think you might need this, sir. Your phone is inside,
she said with a wink. Aiden smiled warmly. Thanks for holding on to it for me, Tina. Good work today. As Tina headed back to Powerhouse, Aiden, Maximilian, and Tara walked into the house to meet with Cyrus and the other captains. When they got to the secret meeting room, everyone was buzzing with excitement. But when Aiden walked in, his men quieted down immediately. Welcome back, Tiger, Cyrus greeted him warmly. We all heard what happened today. Only the Tiger is capable of such a feat. The other captains nodded and murmured in agreement. I'd be lying at the bottom of a ravine right now if it wasn't for George, Max, Tina, and Tara, Aiden said gratefully. And I appreciate all of you standing by. We came close to losing everything today, but we're coming out of this stronger than ever. So, what's your plan now, boss? Asked Cyrus. Give us the word, and we'll make Dominic and Aaron pay for what they did to you, Ben added, cracking his knuckles. Aiden held up his hand. Trust me, they'll pay for what they've done, but not until the time is right. Tell me, has Dominic started pulling his spies out yet? Cyrus nodded. Yes, it appears that after he interrogated you today, Dominic began withdrawing all of the agents he had planted in our ranks. Excellent, Aiden smirked. Let's give them 24 hours to fully withdraw. Then, we'll launch the next phase of our plan. Ben arched a brow. And what is the next phase of the plan, boss? There'll be a meeting tomorrow night on a freight ship in the port of Chicago. I'll fill you in on the details there. Isn't there anything we can do in the meantime? Maximilian asked, impatiently. Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. Aiden turned toward Tara. Tonight, Tara will get revenge for her son's death. Ferris and Tobias will be dead before sunrise tomorrow. This will serve as a warning to anyone who betrays the Tiger Group. Tara stepped forward, bowing her head slightly. Thank you, boss, for granting me permission to kill the men who hurt my son. But I can't guarantee that they'll die tonight. I need to find them first. I've already taken care of that, Aiden said, placing a hand on her shoulder. Ron has been following them and has eyes on them now. They're having a big party to celebrate the end of the Tiger Group as we speak. It's the perfect occasion for us to wreak havoc on our enemies. We couldn't have planned it better ourselves. I'll put you in touch with Ron, and he'll give you all the details. Thank you, boss, Tara said, her eyes welling up with tears. I'll bring you their heads on a platter by tomorrow morning. Would you like to stay here tonight? Cyrus asked Aiden, once the meeting had ended. Aiden shook his head. I need to go home. Blair is probably worried sick about me with all of the rumors going around about the Tiger. And I'm worried about Charlotte. I need to find her before Aaron does. Cyrus nodded. Okay, but take one of my cars at least. We don't want Dominic and his men to find out you're still alive. Not yet anyway. A short time later, Aiden pulled Cyrus's car to a stop in front of Blair's house, parking it a little further down the street. He kept his head down and his hands in his pockets as he walked to the house, trying to keep a low profile. Hey, that's him! He heard a man's voice growl from inside a car. The doors opened, and 3 burly men stepped out of the car with knives and baseball bats in their hands. Oh, great. Here we go again, Aiden thought. Looks like Dominic found me already. Are you Aiden Callahan? One of the men asked as they approached him. That depends on who wants to know. Before Aiden finished his sentence, he saw a flash of steel as one of the thugs stabbed at him with a knife. Who are the men attacking Aiden outside of Blair's house? Will Aiden find Charlotte before Aaron does? What is Aiden planning to announce at the meeting on the ship? Aiden saw the glint of a steel blade coming toward him out of the corner of his eye as 3 mysterious thugs closed in on him outside of Blair's house. He caught his assailant's wrist, stopping the blade mere millimeters from his torso. He twisted the man's arm around at a painful angle, causing the knife to fall from his hand and clatter to the ground. Who sent you here to kill me? Aiden growled, shoving the man away and picking up the knife he had dropped. Was it Dominic Grayson? Aaron? Harper Jeffries? Tell me! The thugs looked at each other and laughed. Aiden scowled. What's so funny? If you think one of Chicago's criminal masterminds sent us, you're way off, pal. One of the thugs replied. Yeah, like Dominic Grayson would send 3 of us to beat up a delivery boy. A puzzled expression fell across Aiden's face. What are you talking about? I haven't been a delivery boy for a long time now. That's not what Lyle Nichols told us. One of the thugs snickered, thumping his baseball bat against his open palm. Lyle Nichols? What does my old boss have to do with this? Aiden wondered aloud. He's pissed that you shot down his bid for the Powerhouse contract. He said you were getting too full of yourself and sent us here to put you in your place, said the goon who had tried to stab Aiden. Once a delivery boy, always a delivery boy, one of his companions added, flashing a crooked smile. Seriously? Aiden arched his brows. Lyle Nichols sent you here to kill me? Yep, one of the thugs nodded. He wants the Powerhouse contract, and once you're out of the way, it'll be his for the taking. Aiden shook his head. Listen, guys, I've had a really long day. I'm not in the mood to deal with this trivial bullshit. If you walk away now, I'll pretend like this never happened. If you think big words are going to scare us away, You got another thing coming," said the thug with the baseball bat. "Get him, boys." He swung the bat at Aiden's head with enough force to crack it open like a watermelon. Aiden ducked in the nick of time as the bat whizzed over his head. As he dropped down, the man who had tried to stab him dove at him headfirst, trying to tackle him. Aiden raised the knife he had picked up over his head and plunged it down into the back of the man's neck, sending blood spurting up like a fountain. The thug fell to the ground with a thud, the life quickly draining out of him. "What the hell, man?" said the thug with the baseball bat. "What are you? Some kind of psycho or something?" Aiden looked up at him, his face covered in blood. "I told you, I'm not in the mood. If you don't leave right now, you're next." "You think I'm gonna let you kill my friend and get away with it?" the man with the bat roared. "Fat chance." He raised the bat with both hands over his head like an axe and brought it down as if he was trying to split Aiden in two. Aiden somersaulted out of the way, causing the bat to ricochet on the sidewalk and fly back up into the thug's face. There was a terrible crunching sound as the man's nose was shattered. As the man staggered backward, clutching his face, Aiden leapt up and stabbed him several times in quick succession, puncturing his vital organs. "You'll pay for that," the last remaining thug shouted, throwing a knife at Aiden's head as his back was turned. Aiden heard the whistle of the blade hurtling through the air. He ripped the bat from the dead thug's hands and swung it around, knocking the knife back like a line drive at the thug who threw it. The thug's eyes widened in shock as the blade flew directly toward his face. It hit him right between the eyes, sinking deep into his skull. Aiden let the bat fall from his hands as Blair's security guards came rushing over. "Sir, are you all right?" "I'm fine," Aiden replied, wiping the blood from his face. "What happened? Who sent these men?" one of the guards asked, looking around in shock at the gruesome scene. "No one important," Aiden said, walking toward the house. "They just picked the wrong day to mess with me. That's all." When Aiden got inside, he hurried to his room to clean himself up. "I don't want Blair to see me like this," he thought, quickly stripping off his bloody clothes and jumping into the shower. When he got out, he toweled his hair and threw on some clothes. He was about to go downstairs and look for Blair when he heard his phone going off inside his briefcase. It might be important. Better answer it, he decided. "Hello?" "Aiden, thank God," he heard Lara reply on the other end of the line. "I heard about what happened. The news headlines, the kidnapping, the car crash, all of it. I've been trying to reach you for hours. Why haven't you picked up your phone?" Aiden ran his hand through his damp hair. "It's okay, Lara. I'm fine. Please, calm down. It's been a crazy day. I'm just getting home now." There was a long pause. For a moment, Aiden wondered if Lara was still there. "Are you sure you're okay?" she asked, breaking the silence. "Because if you need me there, I will come immediately." "Everything's okay, Lara. I promise. If I need you, I will let you know." Lara let out a sigh of relief. "I'm glad you made it home safely, Tiger. You gave us all a big scare today. Take care of yourself, all right?" Aiden smiled. "I will. Take care of yourself too, Lara. Talk soon." As soon as he hung up the call, he heard someone knocking softly on his door. "It's open," he called out, tossing his phone down onto the bed. The door opened slowly, and Blair walked in carrying a tray of food. As the aroma filled his nostrils, Aiden's mouth began to water. "Are you hungry?" Blair asked. Aiden nodded. "Honestly, I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything since I left here this morning." "Oh, you poor dear. Please, sit." Aiden flopped down into a chair, and Blair set the tray down on the table next to him. "Were you worried about me today?" Aiden asked, as he began to shovel down his food. Blair shrugged. Well, I could see in your eyes that you were planning something big this morning, but Charlotte showed up before you had a chance to explain it to me. I have complete faith in you, Aiden. I really do. But, to be honest, I've been worried sick. Aiden sighed. Sorry, Mom. You don't need to worry about me. Not anymore, at least. I am a little bit worried about Charlotte, though. Is she here? He asked, furrowing her brow. No. Charlotte decided to stay at her own place tonight, Blair replied, shaking her head nervously. Why are you worried about her? Is she in any danger? It's probably nothing, Aiden said nonchalantly, to prevent Blair from freaking out. In fact, I'll call her right now, just so we can stop thinking about it. Hand me my phone, will you? Of course, dear. Blair gave Aiden his phone. She stood next to him, fidgeting anxiously as he dialed Charlotte's number. Charlotte was in her bedroom getting ready for bed when she heard the doorbell ring. That must be Aiden, she muttered to herself. She fluffed up her hair in the mirror, then put on her slippers and quickly shuffled to the front door. Hello, Charlotte, Erin said as she opened the door, looking up at her with a flirtatious smile. Charlotte's mouth fell open. Erin? What are you doing here? She stammered. I need to talk to you about something important, Erin replied. Do you mind if I come in? Fine, Charlotte huffed, but make it quick. It's late and I was just about to go to bed. Upstairs on Charlotte's vanity, her cell phone began to ring. Come on, Charlotte, pick up, Aiden thought, gripping the phone tightly to his ear. Aaron thinks that I'm dead. If he gets to Charlotte before I do, there's no telling what he might do. What does Aaron want from Charlotte? Is she in danger? Will Aaron convince Charlotte that Aiden is dead? Sorry for dropping by so late unannounced, Aaron said as he stepped inside Charlotte's house, a mischievous grin on his face. Whatever, Aaron, Charlotte huffed, leading him to the living room. This better be important. Trust me, it is. So, how are you enjoying your new job? He asked, making himself comfortable on the sofa. Charlotte looked puzzled. What? Aren't you working for Powerhouse PR now? That must be a big change for you. It is, but how did you... Charlotte stammered. I make it my business to find out things like that, Aaron interjected, smiling knowingly. Charlotte rolled her eyes. Let's cut through the bullshit, Aaron. Whatever it is you want, just spit it out. Aaron laughed. Right, of course. Enough small talk. I'll get to the point. He leaned back on the couch, a cocky look on his face. I need to talk to you about Aiden. Charlotte sat down tentatively on the arm of a nearby chair. What about him? Aaron sighed, feigning sadness. I'm sorry to say it's not good news. Charlotte's breath caught in her throat. Whatever it is, just tell me. I can't bear the suspense. Aaron leaned forward, taking Charlotte's hand in his. The thing is, I came here to tell you that Aiden's been lying to you. To all of us, actually. There was a slight pause, and then Charlotte shook her hand free and burst out laughing. Look who's talking, she scoffed. Why should I trust anything you say after the way you deceived me? Aaron's eyes glanced down at the ground. I'm sorry for lying to you, Charlotte, but that doesn't mean you should let Aiden off the hook. Have you ever considered that maybe you don't know him as well as you think? Charlotte fell silent. What do you mean? Aaron stared into her eyes. I trusted Aiden at first too, but he's the one who exposed my real identity. Charlotte said nothing for a moment, searching for the words she needed. How would Aiden have gotten mixed up in something like that? My thoughts exactly. Aaron stood up and began to pace back and forth, studying the pictures on the walls. At first, I didn't know what to think. But then I realized Only someone in the mafia, someone with deep connections to the crime scene in Chicago, would have the resources and the incentives to expose me. Charlotte rolled her eyes again.
Do you even hear yourself right now? Aiden? In the mob? Come on, you honestly expect me to take you seriously?
Aaron pleaded with her. Think about it, Charlotte. Haven't you ever noticed anything strange about Aiden's behavior? I mean, he's been in and out of Attitude nightclub with that guy Ron. The big surly guy? He basically follows him around like a hired henchman. You don't think that's a little strange? Charlotte said nothing. Her mind was racing. And what about his connection with Maximilian Castor? Aaron continued. Everyone knows that the Castor family has mob ties. You don't think that's weird? Charlotte shook her head, trying not to believe what Aaron was saying.
Look, these could all just be, I don't know, coincidences. I admit it's a bit odd, but I mean, come on. Aiden was a poor delivery boy until a few months ago. And you should have seen the way he let the Stone family push him around.
Aaron walked over to her, placing his hand on her shoulders. Do you remember when I asked you for a piece of Aiden's hair? She nodded, a questioning look on her face.
Yes? What about it?
I had it tested, Aaron explained. I was trying to see if Aiden was the tiger.
The tiger? Seriously?
Charlotte stood up, running her hands through her hair, stifling laughter.
Are you telling me Aiden Callahan is Chicago's biggest mafia boss?
Aaron scowled and shook his head. No, I know now that Aiden's not the tiger. His DNA wasn't a match. Charlotte scoffed.
Well, then that proves it. So why are you bothering me with this whole conspiracy theory?
Will you just listen for a second? Aaron interjected. Charlotte fell silent as he continued. He didn't come back as a match for the tiger. But when I confronted Aiden, he told me the truth. Charlotte's face went pale.
The truth about what?
He told me that he was a stand-in for the tiger. A fake tiger. A decoy. Aaron explained. The real tiger died 10 years ago. So the tiger group has Aiden running around as an imposter to try to show the world that the tiger is actually alive. But it's all fake. It's a hoax. Charlotte reeled, stammering.
No, you're lying. That can't be true.
Aaron grabbed her by the shoulders, nearly shaking her. Think about it, Charlotte. When you were at the Barone Foundation party, the tiger picked you out of every other woman there. He danced only with you. Why do you think he did that?
Because that was Aiden, you mean?
She answered softly, her voice trembling. Aaron nodded. Exactly. Suddenly, Charlotte stiffened her resolve, even as tears began to form in her eyes. She stood up and pointed at the door.
Get out of here, Aaron! Now! I don't know why you're doing this, but I don't want to hear any more lies from you. I'm going to find out the truth from Aiden myself.
Aaron's face fell. A grave expression formed in his eyes. Charlotte, I'm so sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Why not?
Charlotte hissed, furrowing her brow. Because Aiden's dead. Aaron stared at her with a tender look. Charlotte froze. For a long time, she said nothing.
What?
Aaron pulled her into his arms. I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you, but it's true. Tears streamed down Charlotte's cheeks. She trembled as she spoke, stifling cries of anguish.
How? What happened?
Aaron clutched her tightly as her body racked with sobs. After I confronted him, he killed himself. He was afraid of what would happen when the truth came out. Charlotte sank to her knees as her entire body trembled.
No. This can't be happening.
Aaron tried to comfort her, placing a hand on the small of her back. Charlotte, it's going to be all right. She curled into a fetal position on the floor.
Get out! I just need to be alone.
Okay, I'll give you some space. I understand this is a lot to process, but I'm coming back tomorrow to check on you. Aaron started walking to the door. He paused for a moment, turning back to Charlotte, who was sobbing on the ground. Goodbye, Charlotte. Charlotte remained on the floor, mourning the loss of Aiden for almost an hour. Then, slowly but surely, she collected herself and pulled herself off the ground. Suddenly, a look of fierce determination flashed across her face. She snatched the keys to her car off of the table near the front door and raced outside to her car. She clambered into the driver's seat and sped off into the night. She left in such a hurry that she forgot her phone upstairs as Aiden tried calling her again and again. Meanwhile, across town at Blair's house, Aiden threw his phone down onto a table, irate. God damn it, Charlotte! Why won't you pick up? Where are you? As soon as he slammed it down, it began to ring. He answered immediately, hoping it was Charlotte calling him back. Hello? Tiger, it's good to hear your voice, Johnny replied. We heard the news about your death. We were worried it might be true. Aiden ran his hand through his hair and shook his head. No, Johnny. It's a hoax to trick Dominic into pulling his spies out of our organization. So the news of the tiger's death already reached Italy then? Johnny sighed. Yes, this news is spreading like wildfire. I'm glad to hear that it's fake, but it's been causing a lot of chaos in the mafia world. Aiden sighed heavily. Shit. Look, Tiger, you need to hold a meeting with your people and get this under control as soon as you can, Johnny continued. Otherwise, the damage could be irreparable. Aiden nodded in agreement. Understood. And don't worry, Johnny chuckled slightly. I'll be there soon to help you. What? Aiden cocked his head. I'm coming to Chicago. I'm on the next flight out. I'll drop you a line as soon as I land. Aiden smiled. Excellent. See you soon then. Good luck, boss. See you soon. Johnny hung up. Aiden leaned his head against the wall, sighing heavily. This is a disaster. The longer I let this hoax go on, the more damage could be done, he thought. Pretending that I'm dead might make me safer, but the people closest to me are more exposed than ever. Suddenly, Aiden heard the front door swing wide and the sound of muffled voices coming from downstairs. Though he couldn't make out what they were saying, it sounded like someone was crying. He raced downstairs to see Charlotte wrapped up in Blair's arms, sobbing hysterically. It's Aiden, Mom. He's dead. Aaron told me he killed himself. She could barely speak as she wept, struggling to get the words out. I don't know what I'll do without him. Aiden ran forward, breathing a sigh of relief. Charlotte! As he called out to her, Charlotte nearly jumped out of her skin. She pulled back from Blair, staring over her shoulder at Aiden. Her face went pale. Aiden? You're... He nodded. Yeah, I'm okay. As he took a step towards her, the blood drained from her face and she fainted, hitting the ground with a thud. Will Charlotte recover from her shock of finding out Aiden is actually alive? Will Charlotte confront Aiden about what Aaron told her and discover that Aiden is actually the tiger? Charlotte? Aiden panted. Charlotte, can you hear me? Aiden held on tightly to Charlotte as she lay unconscious on the floor of Blair's house. She had just fainted after learning that Aiden was actually alive. Slowly, Charlotte's eyes fluttered open, a look of confusion on her face. Aiden? Is it really you? Am I dreaming? Aiden breathed a sigh of relief as she returned to consciousness. Yes, Charlotte, it's really me. Everything's fine, I promise. Without saying anything, Charlotte wrapped her arms around Aiden's neck, and he helped her up, walking her over to the couch in the living room. Blair sat down next to her daughter, placing a blanket over her and offering her some tea, which she sipped on as she stared at Aiden suspiciously. There was a long silence. Then finally, Aiden spoke. "What exactly did Aaron tell you?" Charlotte let out a shaky breath. "He told me that you were dead, that you killed yourself." Aiden shook his head. "Lies. You can't trust anything Aaron tells you." "He told me something else, too," Charlotte continued, staring daggers at Aiden. He fell silent for a moment. "What?" "He said..." Charlotte trailed off, choosing her words carefully. "He said that you were in the mafia, that you were pretending to be the tiger." Blair and Aiden exchanged a tense stare. He cleared his throat. "That's not true, Charlotte. Aaron's just trying to turn you against me. I'm just Aiden Callahan, just a regular guy. Your boyfriend. That's it." He reached out for her hand. Charlotte pulled her hand away. "I can tell when you're lying to me. I'm not stupid, you know. I can see it in your eyes. You're not telling me the whole truth." She suddenly stood up, her strength returning to her. "Aaron asked me for a piece of your hair to get it DNA tested, to see if it matched the tiger's. Why would he do that unless he was actually checking to see if you're the tiger or not?" There was a long pause. Then Blair intervened. "Charlotte, you've just had a very traumatic experience. Why don't we put you to bed upstairs, and we can all talk in the morning when you're feeling better?" Charlotte shoved Blair off of her, her voice laced with venom. "No! I want answers. Now. I can see it. Both of you are hiding something from me." She marched up to Aiden, pointing her finger in his face. "Who are you, Aiden Callahan? How did you and Blair meet? How do you two know each other? Really?" She then whipped around on Blair, a ferocious glare in her eyes. "And you say you're my mother, but you clearly know more than you're letting on. I mean, you must know who Aiden's parents are. Tell me the truth right now." A long silence fell over the room. Neither Blair nor Aiden said anything. Aiden lowered his eyes to the floor, avoiding her gaze. "Just tell me, Aiden. Are you the tiger or not?" Charlotte pressed. More silence. After what felt like an eternity had passed, Charlotte shook her head and exhaled sharply. "Fine. If you won't tell me the truth, then I guess I'll have to figure it out for myself. It shouldn't be too hard. After all, I can always bring Aaron some of your actual hair, your real DNA this time." She jumped up from the couch, tossing the blanket Blair had given her on the ground. Aiden's eyes went wide. He ran after her, trying to grab her arm. "Please, Charlotte, just listen to me for a second, okay? I can explain everything." She brushed him off. No, that's fine. I don't need anything from you, Aiden. Not anymore." She gathered her things, preparing to storm off. "Charlotte, wait," he pleaded. "I told you this before, but I'll say it again. I promise I want to be honest with you about everything. But you have to wait until the time is right." Charlotte scoffed, nearly bursting out laughing. "You keep saying you're going to tell me the truth, that I have to wait until the time is right. But when will that be, Aiden? Huh? A week? A month? A year? Or never?" "You have to understand that this secrecy, all of this deception, this is all for your own good," Aiden explained. "Everything I've done has been for your protection." Charlotte laughed again. "My own good?" She threw her head back, rolling her eyes. "Do you even hear yourself, Aiden? All this secrecy hasn't done me any good. Not one bit. No matter what you've done, I've still been kidnapped, harassed, tortured, and worse. It doesn't mean anything to me what your intentions are. Your lies can't save me from the truth." There was a long silence. A single tear fell down Charlotte's face. "I'm sorry, Aiden, but it's over between us. Aiden felt his heart sink in his chest. He stammered, his face growing red hot. What?
I can't do this anymore.
She shook her head in disbelief.
For the sake of our past love, I won't say anything to Aaron, but I think it's time we both admitted there can't be anything between us now. Not after this.
She threw on her coat, holding back more tears.
I've been through enough with people like you. People who lie, people who I can't trust. And I can't do it again. So this is me saying enough. This is me putting my foot down. Both you and Aaron and everyone around you. You've taken advantage of me for the last time.
She exhaled, as though she were shedding a heavy burden in her heart.
Goodbye, Aiden. I really did love you.
Without saying another word, she stormed out the front door of the house. Blair grabbed her by the arm, trying desperately to pull her back.
Charlotte, don't do this. Hear Aiden out. I swear, if you could just listen.
Let her go, Aiden interrupted Blair, a sad look on his face. If she wants to go, fine. Maybe it's for the best. He held back tears of his own, avoiding making eye contact with her. Goodbye, Charlotte, he whispered as she raced to the street and climbed back into her car. Once inside the car, Charlotte burst out sobbing, laying her head on the steering wheel.
God damn it, Aiden.
Tears streamed freely down both of her cheeks.
I thought you were different. But it turns out, you're just like the rest of them.
After what felt like an eternity had passed, she collected herself and exhaled. She turned her key in the ignition and slowly drove off into the night, leaving Aiden far behind. Meanwhile, back in the house, Aiden slowly sank onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. Blair watched him carefully, sighing. "I'll give you a moment. Let me know if you want to talk." She headed upstairs, leaving him alone in the living room. Aiden's heart pounded in his ears. Should I have told her the truth? After all, it's not like I couldn't trust her to keep my secret. In fact, she's probably the only person I could trust with my real identity. Why did I let her go? As Aiden racked his brain for answers, his phone suddenly rang. Tara's name flashed across the screen. Tara, how did it go? He answered. Please tell me your mission was successful. I could really use some good news.
It's over, boss.
Tara replied proudly.
Tobias and Varys are both dead. I made those bastards pay for what they did to my son.
Aiden breathed a sigh of relief. Excellent work. Tie up the loose ends and meet me at Cyrus's house first thing tomorrow morning.
Copy that, boss. See you soon.
Aiden hung up and set the phone down on the coffee table. He stared around the room, realizing how empty the house felt without Charlotte in it. Dejected and miserable. He headed upstairs and slowly fell asleep. When he woke up, Aiden decided to go for a long drive to clear his head. He found himself on a quiet country road outside of Chicago, far from everything that caused him pain. As he drove, however, he noticed something on the side of the road. The silhouette of a man was visible, nestled in between trees. Who is that? Aiden wondered. Within a few seconds, he had pulled the car up alongside the figure, who faced away from Aiden, staring out at a nearby river. Aiden stepped out of the car. Hello? Are you all right? The strange figure said nothing. He just continued to watch the river. Aiden stepped closer to him. Can I give you a ride or something? Are you lost? There was a moment of silence. Then, without turning around, the strange figure spoke. Aiden? Is that you? Aiden felt a chill down his spine. He couldn't explain it, but the voice of the man sounded familiar. He drew in closer. Yeah, it's me. How do you know who I am? There was another moment of silence. Then slowly, the strange figure turned around. As he did, Aiden's jaw dropped, and his heart nearly skipped a beat. It's me, son. Don't you recognize me? Aiden couldn't believe what he was seeing. Standing across from him was Samuel Gibson, his father, looking just as he did the day he died, except now he was very much alive. Is Aiden's father really alive? Will Charlotte and Aiden's breakup last? Will Charlotte use Aiden's DNA to learn that he's actually the tiger?